I gave my life to Jesus when I was 15 years old, sitting on the bathroom floor after attempting to take my own life. It's not a secret that right now there are a lot of people who are starting to explore their faith, who are giving their life to Jesus, and I am feeling a deep conviction to share my story as someone who gave their life to Christ at 15. And I want to share what God has been doing and what my walk has been like since then. I personally grew up with severe childhood trauma. Growing up, life looked like abuse, neglect, and living through things no child should ever have to live through. And that ultimately was kind of what led to my attempt. Now I was exposed to God and to Jesus at different points of my life, so I ultimately knew who he was, but I didn't up until this point want a relationship with him. But I got to the point where I knew I couldn't live any longer without his intervention, and nor did I want to. So I figured out how to get myself to church. I got plugged in to youth groups at the time and really dedicated myself to learning more about God and Jesus and to just live for him however he called me to. And I was still living at home. I was still in the trenches and living through the abuse still. And God brought people into my life who continuously spoke life into me. I had people come into my life who treated me like that I was their own and loved me as if I was one of their own. God provided the people in my life that I needed when I needed them, which ultimately just strengthened my faith. Answered prayer by answered prayer. I eventually grew up and got out of that situation and still was continuing my faith and my walk with Jesus. I got married at age 18, and when our life started together as a couple, my mental health increasingly declined. I'm talking severe depression, panic attacks, suicidal ideation still. Like, I was struggling. It took me a long time to get the help that I needed and to start seeing a therapist and a psychiatrist. I eventually did, but it took me a while. I thought I could handle it on my own, and I just couldn't. I eventually got pregnant and had my daughter, and my mental health continued to decline. The therapist that I was seeing at the time wasn't a trauma therapist, and I eventually started feeling more and more like I needed to see someone with a trauma-informed lens who could help me work through the trauma that I had experienced. So I eventually made that shift, and that was the best decision that I had made.